Welcome, everybody. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader at Verified Investing. Now, first, I want to start by saying the last couple videos, I did request you guys to hit that like button, and it's incredible. I've gotten more likes on that video or the last two videos than any other videos. So thank you so much for sharing that love with me. And thanks for all the comments. I know a lot of you requested charts. In today's morning video, I'm going to go over what I'm looking at in the pre-market. This is basically the today's best trade setups, but for my personal YouTube channel. Now, today's best trade setups on verifiedinvesting.com has moved to 12:30. So make sure you're checking that out as well. I would really appreciate that. So you can get the mid-morning update as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So here's what I'm looking at today. CIEN is trading near the $500 whole round number. So this in the charts, this chart of CIEN, look at this move. Just from those recent lows, we're up almost 36% from the lows from the 30th of March, 2026. So just over a week and a half. This $500 whole round number is going to be a major resistance area. I did mention one time that this upsloping trend line, if you got back into this level, is going to be support. So what I'm looking for is price action to actually retrace back to this upsloping trend line and then finally recapture it. And then we can have additional further selling to the downside. So for me, CIEN is looking really, really juicy for a short trade. I'm actually going to zoom out in the weekly time frame. Look at this, though. CIEN isn't even at all-time highs. It is recent highs, but not all-time highs. But check out all of this resistance in this level at $500. So we could make another push to about 530. But for me, the max upside would be $588. So from the $500 level all the way up to this level, you'd be about a 17% move, which is why I would start inching in for a swing trade on CIEN at a pierce of $500, knowing that I could add at 525. At 550 and then 588, and that would be again my max upside for CIEN. Let's go ahead and jump into the chart of UAL. I did mention, and again, this is another opportunity for you guys at the 12:30 time frame. Price action. This was a great potential long level at $96.36 yesterday. Now look at this. We filled this gap right here a little bit lower, and now we're continuing to head down on the chart of UAL. So right here at $89.33, this is where I'd be looking to pick this up for a long trade. US oil is pushing higher, which is what's causing UAL to continue to fall. So for some reason, if UAL decides it wants to rip to the upside, this resistance level at $102.32 is going to be your resistance. And that's where I'd pick up a short trade on this chart of UAL. STX is pushing up a little bit more in the pre-market as well. It did close not quite a topping tail. So it closed at $496.30. What I was looking for is a close below $495.05. STX failed to do that. So it did not technically put in a topping tail. But look at this. We're getting really close to this upsloping trend line. Connect this pivot low here, secondary pivot, third pivot. This is the trend line that STX is currently underneath. And so if price action can get just above it and get to about the $525 level, this is where I'm starting a swing trade. Even if you wanted to start about $503, that's a great opportunity as well. But if once it gets above 500, then you're looking at about 525. And then for me, I would love to see a close above this. Get all the bulls on board thinking that this rally is going to continue up to about $1,000. And that is where likely the top is in. And then you can see a pretty substantial sell-off. On a day trade basis, I would actually be looking for the 525 level to institute a short. Not only is that upsloping trend line, but that is a key psychological resistance level now that we've already broken above $503. So that's where I'd institute a short on a day trade, knowing that I can navigate this, add every $5 higher, even if it goes up to $550. It would allow me to really average into it and then look for that bigger pullback. Again, I'm not freaked out if price action does close above that on a daily closing basis, because oftentimes upsloping trend lines on third or fourth hits close above, and that's when you get that sell-off the next day. Let's go ahead and jump into LITE. LITE is getting really close to this upsloping, or the upper end of this upsloping parallel channel. So look at this pivot top, all this price consolidation right underneath this trend line, the upper end of the parallel channel. This is the rejection area. As you can see, price then created the lower end of this parallel channel. But this is what happens. Every once in a while, you get these pierces of these levels, and then watch this. You 29 to 30% fall after it pierces, gets the bulls on board, and then that's when you get the sell-off. So for me, I would be looking for that same price action for LITE to get back above this. If we do close above, I would be totally fine with that as well. For me, a short trade level today is $924.32 on for a day trade today, knowing that max upside for me today would be about $975. I know that seems like a lot or a huge move to the upside. However, that's only about a 6% move, and LITE can move over 10% in a day. So that's why I don't mind dollar cost averaging all the way up to about $975 before it eventually rolls over. If we do get a sell-off, I'm not interested in this gap in the charts right here from the closing price on LITE. What I would be looking for is my first long level for a day trade at $815.75. And that would be almost $100 pullback on the chart of LITE, which is about a 10%, just over a 10% move to the downside. Knowing that I've got, I could always stop out of that trade on a daily closing basis or a 15-minute closing basis. That's where I'd look to exit it, and then look for additional support right here at $726. A couple different reasons I like 815.75 is not only is this the midline, but it's also a gap in the charts. And so that's why I play this for about a $10 bounce on LITE. Tesla had this bottoming tail the other day. I was mentioning, and again, this was from the 1230 timeframe. Tesla did put in a bottoming tail a couple days ago. However, this is when when the S&P 500 got this huge rally to the upside. I don't know why I keep saying LITE. Tesla, it wasn't an independent move. So that means that the bottoming tail on Tesla has less weight because it was on the price action of oil. It fell, and that's what caused all the markets to go to the upside. I did mention yesterday at the 1230 time frame that the 50% Fibonacci retracement would have been a great opportunity to institute a long. And as you can see, had they dollar cost average into this all the way down to about $337.24, you could have taken a profit. And that was a day trade level. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more aggressive, if you can get price action right here at $342.63 and you like the chart of Tesla, this is the bottoming tail 50% Fibonacci retracement. And so that's where you'd start a swing trade on this chart. If it does close below $337.24 on a daily closing basis, that would actually negate the bottoming tail, and that's your stop out level. What I'm waiting for is a little bit more price action to come into the chart of Tesla. And the reason I say that is look at this pivot top. First pivot, secondary pivot, third pivot. But look at how price has capped, or this downsloping trend line has capped the price action of Tesla. So now what I want is price to consolidate right alongside of this bottoming tail, get all the way to this downsloping trend line, get above, confirm above, not get into a short after the confirmation. I'd wait for a retrace of the scene of the crime. This way, it gives me further confidence that this downtrend or this downsloping trend line has broken, and that gives way for the bulls to really drive the price of Tesla higher. So that's what I'm looking at on the chart of Tesla. And again, those of you who are a little bit more aggressive, 50% Fibonacci retracement on a bottoming tail is a great opportunity. On a day trade basis, I'm going to zoom out in the charts just a little bit. You've got this opening candle of this green bar. Opening price of the green bar candle right here, as well as all this price consolidation. So I would actually be looking for a day trade at $331.39, knowing I've got additional support. This is a prior red bar high right here, as well as look at this opening candle of a green bar as well. So $322.12 would be an additional add level. And I would actually add every $3 lower if I did get, if $331.39 failed to hold. That's where I would dollar cost average all the way down to. Now let's go into Oracle. I love the chart of Oracle. It gives an opportunity almost every single day to go long. I did mention again at the 12:30 time frame that $143.17 was this gap in the charts that I would be looking to go long on ORCL. Now we're slightly above that in the pre-market. So for me, this level is now off the table. What I'd be looking for is a move all the way down. And let me go ahead and set this in here for you guys so you can see it. It would be $138.80. This is another gap in the charts that if this level does get broken, then you're likely to head all the way back down to this level. And this is where I'd start a swing trade. I mean, a day trade. If you guys are a little bit more aggressive, this low pivot area right here at $139.93 is where you could start, knowing you could average in at $138.80. You have a secondary gap in the charts at $136.48, and then this low pivot area at $135.25. So those are basically your levels on ORCL. And as you can see, that's only about a 3.5%, just less than a 3.5% move to the downside. So if you took this at a Pierce of 140 bucks and you averaged in every dollar or so, that double bottom area is going to be major resistance. And I actually think that's a great opportunity for more of a swing trade level on ORCL as well. If we can get another bid in the markets with the price action of oil continuing lower, then you're going to get a pretty substantial bounce. On a long trade, if I am long this, that double bottom area is my stop out level. If it does close below that on a daily closing basis, I would actually look to stop out of that trade and then re-enter it at a lower price point. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the price of SanDisk. SanDisk is trading above 800 bucks. So $804 is where it's currently trading. It didn't put in a topping tail either, similar to what's going on with STX. But you've got this upsloping trend line right here that price action got rejected off of yesterday. So for me, I would actually be looking for about an $846 level. And the reason I say 846 is 825 is going to be a little bit of a resistance. And so you could start there. But I like to get in right below a whole round number, a psychological level at 850 bucks. And the reason I like that is oftentimes people put their exits or their entry prices at about 850 bucks. And so if it does get up close to that level, this is not an easy game. And so if people are putting their exit prices at 850 bucks, I would like to get in before that, just in case all the institutions see those and drive the price down right before that level. So that's why $846.20 is where I'd start a trade. And on something like the chart of SanDisk, I would average in every $10 or so. What I would do is $846.20. That's my first entry. And then $10 higher, I would double my position, bring my average price up. And then if it went up $10 higher than that, I would double my position again. Now, because SanDisk can really rip to the upside, I'm not going to start with like a half of my portfolio. I'm going to start with a smaller position, and then allows me to dollar cost average and be more aggressive as the price action gets further and further away from the opening price. So that's how I'd play this. And then let's go into the chart of US oil. So here's the chart of USO. It is pushing up. It's up to $127 in the pre-market. As you can see, you've got this prior gap in the charts right here, where, as you can see, price had respected this gap at one time. Now that we're below this, $129.83 would be my first shortable level on the chart of USO. If it does close above that on a 15-minute closing basis, this is where I'd actually stop out of the trade and then look for this gap in the charts. And that would be a pretty substantial move up on USO, which is one of the reasons that I would not look to dollar cost average higher on a chart like this. You get some negative news that the war is going to continue, then USO is going to continue to rip to the upside. And I want to make sure that I'm protecting my capital. And so that's why I'd stop out. Last but not least, Meta had this huge surge to the upside. I'd mentioned in previous videos that this upsloping trend line, just because we close below it, doesn't mean that this is going to be off of the table as far as a long play. And then now look at what happened. We got up as high as $629.95 yesterday. So today, what I'm looking at is this gap in the charts right here. Now, this is more of a minor gap because price action did get below it, rallied to the upside, kissed this level, and then it ended up falling pretty substantially. So $638.18 is an aggressive level, but that would be my first shortable level, knowing that I've got additional resistance at about 655 bucks. So similar, what I would look to do is dollar cost average every $4 or $5 higher on Meta. If that is what's going to happen, if we do break through this gap in the charts, then and head all the way up to this previous gap at 655.43, make sure that I bring my average price up a little bit higher. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much again for all the comments, the likes, the followings, and the ringing that bell so you can get notified every day that I give these videos out. And I know this is a huge ask, and I would really love it because you guys are so supportive on this channel. My YouTube videos that go live on Verified Investing don't get a lot of comments. So if you guys could migrate over there, and I know this is a big ask, so if you don't have the time, that's fine. But if you could bring that same energy over to Verified Investing at that 12:30 time frame, maybe we can get more viewers on that, and then we can keep this cycle going of me in the morning, me in the afternoon at 12:30, and have all of my supporters on there with me. So that's what I have for you guys. Thanks again for all the beautiful comments that you guys give. And I'm going to try to do another video for you guys in the afternoon, covering those charts that you guys requested. And with that said, you guys have a great rest of your day and take care.